Insomniacs and troubled sleepers of Reddit. When you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't fall back to sleep, what do you do? Captain Co-op said, I usually listen to a podcast rather than look at anything on my phone. I find that the light from the screen only makes it less likely that I'll be able to fall asleep again. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. Really looking forward to trying all the suggested shows. Stella McMillan said, I use a meditation app that also has something called sleep stories, which are basically bedtime stories for adults. They range in topics from rules of tennis to stories about traveling through mountains by train and such. I find it similar to podcasts, but as the topics are not that engaging, it helps me fall asleep better. Edit. The app is calm, has tons of very professional content, and someone in the comments said that if you have Amex you get a year subscription for free, so check it out. Bremily said, I agree, calm is my go-to. I wear a set of soft sleep headphones that I bought for about $20. The story I listen to on repeat is called The Shipping Forecast, and it's a British guy reading weather patterns for particular shipping routes for sailors. It's complete nonsense to me, so I don't get too involved in the story. iCaramber99 said, if doing this on your phone on the YouTube app, scroll all the way to the end of the video, then hit replay, and you won't get any ads in between the video. You are still forced to watch the ads at the start when you first play the video and at the end when you scroll to the end. However, there won't be any more ads after that point. If you're watching long video like that, it would save you from this. Edit. This does work for me on Android. If there are some iPhone users with some spare time, give this a test and let me know the outcome. Edited said Thirded, sleep stories are amazing. Basically very boring stories like descriptions of train rides or walks through the woods. No loud noises, no ads, and my favorite part, at the beginning of every story the narrator says something like, now take a moment to relax, get comfortable, settle into your bed, and it works. My personal favorite is the Queen Mary, where you are an honored guest on a transatlantic voyage in the 1920s. I've listened at least a dozen times and still haven't made it to the end. It's so calming. Pro tip, if you sign up for the 7-day free trial and cancel before it ends, they'll offer you 20-30% off the yearly rate. Ormegan89 said, this. Choose a podcast with familiar voices and without commercial breaks or loud noises. Alternatively, an audiobook that you already know. I always have one wireless earbud in my ear so I don't have to open my eyes and scroll and stuff. Just tap the earbud and the soothing sound starts. Choose a side to lay on and stay there. Focus on the sound. Keep your eyes closed, even if it becomes uncomfortable. LKSKKS said, I start by making sure all of my stuff is prepared for tomorrow, like homework. I'm still in school, and my outfit might sound stupid, but preparing an outfit in the morning really stresses me out, to the point where I have trouble falling asleep. After that, I make sure I'm not hungry or thirsty, and everything I need is on my bedside table: water, tissues, hand cream, and other stuff. I make sure to take my meds. I take a shower and go through all of my skincare routine. After that come PJs, brushing my teeth, and toilet stuff. Then I go to my room. If it's winter, I make sure my radiator isn't going to heat my room too much. Turn on my night lamp, close the door, turn off the lights. After I finally lie down in my bed, I pick out an ambient sound to play on my phone, put it on the charging pad, apply hand cream, turn off my nightlight, and go to sleep. I have done that for over 6 years now, and while I appreciate spontaneity during the day, I find that having a set routine at night really helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. Ichanic Face said, I get you on the dry hands thing. Brake fluid sucks moisture out of anything, even removes paint from car body. Be careful, plus the salt from the roads and hand washing, and you don't have a ton of mechanics with skin problems. O'Keeffe's makes a wicked skin hand repair cream that turned my life around. This isn't an ad, I'm serious. No more cracked and bleeding knuckles. Literally every line on my hands would crack during the winter. When it gets real bad, the foot cream sometimes works even better. Legit lifesaver. Especially where I have 2 kids, one being a newborn. I don't want my nasty hands anywhere near him, but this stuff helped a ton. Pathy in Theory said, my bedtime routine, which I often neglect but am trying to commit to, is a winding down routine. I stop looking at screens an hour before bed, brush teeth, wash face, get into whichever sleep attire I need, etc. If I'm not super exhausted, I read a book to try to get myself in the mood to sleep. I also make sure I've cleaned up whatever I did that day just so I don't stress over it while I'm trying to sleep, so put away leftovers, do dishes, tidy up the living room, put laundry in dryer, etc. A sleep routine should be a sequence of things you do to disengage your brain from your surroundings. They take a while to acclimate to, but you'll see improvements if you stick with the parts that help you de-stress unwind. She said. This is what I do. Also, as an insomniac, having a clear bedtime routine is key. It sometimes means missing out on stuff, but it keeps me sane. I do a half cup of chamomile tea, a 20-minute relaxing yoga session, and then a warm shower where I go immediately to bed. The natural cooling of your body from the shower is a good indicator to your body that it's sleep time. Also, as much as I miss it, cutting down hard on both caffeine and alcohol is huge. I still struggle sometimes, but it's the exception and not the rule these days. Living life on more than 4 hours a night is a game changer. She said. I commented this above as well, but if you suffer from insomnia, having a good bedtime routine of relaxing events that you do consistently to tell yourself it's sleep time is key. For me, it's a half cup of chamomile tea, a short relaxing yoga session, brush my teeth, and a shower directly into bed. If I've been laying in bed for 20 minutes clearly not getting sleepier, I get up and repeat this routine. Lately I've had to work a rotating schedule, switching days and nights, and it's helped a ton with that as well. That being said, my insomnia was pretty bad before I got stringent on this, and I still had to almost completely give up both caffeine and alcohol. Superb and 1997 said. I relive all the awful, uncomfortable, embarrassing, humiliating experiences or mistakes I've made in my entire life and deride myself for being an idiot, because that's a really useful way to spend time at 3:30 a.m. And then I fantasize about winning the lottery. Edit, we may all feel lousy in the middle of night, but at least now we know we're not alone, and it gives me lots of solace and hopefully for some of you as well. Half Integer said. Serious question. From your interaction with the professionals in the sleep lab, why is a schedule of getting up at 4 a.m. seen as a problem? Aside from the remaining daylight in the summer, an 8 to 9 p.m. bedtime and 4 a.m. wake time sounds fine if you can sleep well during that time. I don't have serious sleep issues, but try to stay on a 6 a.m. schedule. If they told me 8 a.m. was normal, I would ask why. I consider staying in bed past 7 a.m. abnormal. Nothing wrong with having your personal time in the morning instead of after work either, in my opinion. I did have some troublesome nights this winter, probably being so sedentary during the winter with teleworking in the cold, and would get up and work for about 2 hours then fall back asleep for about 2 hours. Zero Rabbit 7 said. It is not explicitly a problem as defined by the medical community. In my description I am using somewhat generalized terms and statements that my condition reflects in my life. It is more like normal humans don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and go to sleep at 8 p.m. I am paraphrasing. I would have to be preparing myself for sleep before having my young children in bed. This is a condition I have to manage and handle as best I can, expected forever. When my kids are grown up, perhaps I can manage it without a need for medication. However, the doctor did not say, because you wake up early, here is a treatment, but because the impact of waking up early has on your life, when you need it on day, you may take this within some constraints, such that you do not become reliant on it. Hopefully that helps clarify. Bossifeed said. Thank you for posting all this. It gives me a way of thinking about my own sleep cycle. I've been a lifelong night owl, great difficulty sleeping before 2 a.m., but last year I was diagnosed with apnea, so have been using constant positive air pressure, CPAP, thing. The CPAP made for gradual improvement, then suddenly early this year I'm in the same pattern you're in. In my case, I love it, because it has been a lifelong dream to be up and about in the morning without brain fog. Cheers, mate. Ever Silverline said. Have you ever tried metrazapine before? It's a multi-purpose antidepressant that has antihistamine-type properties. Helps with sleep. When I first took it I slept very well and for a few days. But gradually my sleep pattern is regressing and I find I am waking up earlier. But I am still getting quite a considerable more sleep than before I took it. It sucks having to rely on pills and drugs to sleep. They really need to start funding sleep research more. It really fucks and shortens people's lives, causes health complications. Healthcare systems would likely be reduced if people didn't develop health complications such as heart disease, obesity, depression, cancer, Alzheimer's and many others as a result of lack of sleep. Can't understand why they funnel so much money into other fields and not sleep problems. So frustrating. Sarah Bjork said, "Laying there is definitely not helpful. But neither is just getting up. What I learned from insomnia therapy, CBT, is you should get up, sit down in another room or at least away from your bed and do something like read the paper or play solitaire. Something that doesn't keep you up but takes your mind off things. I usually listen to a podcast or audiobook. When you feel tired again, try going back to bed. If you can't sleep, at least you gave your brain a little extra time to rest." Groundhog Pete said, "I tried all the tricks but nothing helped to improve sleep quality. Blue light filters, relaxation, meditation, self-hypnosis, tart cherry extract, bananas, kiwi, breathing techniques, white noises, every single supplement out there. People without insomnia just wouldn't understand this. Going to bed was a huge procedure and I wasted multiple hours every day attempting to sleep only to wake up 2 hours later and be wide awake until 30 minutes before I needed to stand up. Things did get better after I left my abusive ex-spouse, but also I am now taking medications to help with sleep. Even these are sometimes not enough though." Anxiety-ridden camel said, "My body hasn't let me sleep for more than 4 hours a day for years. I usually go on Discord and talk to my cousins who live in Ireland. I live in the States. If they're not on I just whatever. Edit, thank you for worrying about my health everyone who is, but I've been checked out multiple times by my doctor and specialist. I've had my head scanned and had an electroencephalogram. Basically they attach little discs to your head and monitor your brain activity. They did this while I slept, and they noticed no strange activity. They also did this in the middle of the day another time. Thanks for worrying, but I have had it checked out by specialists who said nothing appears to be wrong." Krasaski Ainslet said, "I'm the same way, but usually sleep in 2 chunks, which used to be the norm way back. See the book at Days Close by Eckhart. So I go to bed, wake up 4 hours later, get on my phone, read, do whatever for a bit, then go back to bed for 2-4 hours depending on when I need to get up. That works well for me." Spanky Macruder said, "Schizophrenia is not caused by diminished sleep. Diminished sleep is caused by schizophrenia. Diminished sleep can cause temporary psychosis, but this is not schizophrenia. The most significant factor in schizophrenia is genetics. If both parents are schizophrenic, there is a high likelihood of developing the disease. If one parent is schizophrenic, you have a 10% likelihood of becoming schizophrenic. It's almost unheard of to develop schizophrenia unless it is common in your family. If your parents are not schizophrenic, your chances of becoming schizophrenic are less than 1%. The second most significant factor is damage at both or during development. Premature birth weight, asphyxia, malnutrition and emotional neglect, extreme stress as a child. This may be in part due to the fact that having a schizophrenic parent would be stressful and neglect would be common. https://www.nhs.uk/mental-health/conditions/schizophrenia/causes/ Tic-Tac said, "I'm breaking my rules by being on Reddit, but here you go, fellow insomniacs. 1. Do not get on your phone, turn on the TV, or turn the lights on if your intent is to go back to sleep. You're just going to fuck up your brain. 2. Lay still, close your eyes, and start with the letter A. Name 5 things from a category that start with A. Baby names, city names, items in a grocery store, types of animals, things you would find in an office, whatever. Name 5 things from the category that start with the letter A, then move on to the letter B, then C, and so on. I skip Q and X. 3. If you make it through to Z, Move on to another category. Nilohiaj said, I started doing this with people's names unbeknownst that it was a trick to fall back to sleep, but I gotta agree that it can help a bit. Only thing is, for me, it either works fairly quickly, within 30-45 minutes, or it doesn't at all. Objects or categories or whatever is probably a better one though. Names occasionally leads me down a rabbit hole of oh right. James. I remember the time in high school when which can be not great in terms of slowing down your thoughts. Sleepless Sally said, get up and wander around, trying to figure out why I'm not asleep. Do I need to pee? Am I too hot cold? Do I need some water? If I drink the water, will I need to pee again? I hear an owl. It sounds so close. If I go to the window, will I see it? OMG, it's right there. Watch the owl for a while. Get into bed. Realize that my back hurts. Maybe that's why I'm awake. Try to go back to sleep. Since I'm already back in bed, it's not happening. Get up for some painkillers. Try to pee again just in case, since I just drank another glass of water. Get back into bed. Every anxiety I've ever had crowds into my head. Listen jealously to my husband's untroubled slumber. Get out my iPad and earbuds to watch something to distract my brain. Doze off for an hour or two to Blue Planet, wake up tired. If by what do you do? You meant how do I go back to sleep right away when this happens to me? Then sorry, I can't help you, LOL. Fragrant Arm 8601 said, do the washing up. Quietly. So I don't disturb my man. Go outside and look at the sky. Empty the rubbish bins. Quietly. Snuggle my cats. Get lots of licks and headbutts in return. Snuggle my hippopotamus stuffy named Earl and try and find a position where my body doesn't hurt to my chronic illness. Worry about everything I have said or done in my 40 years on Earth. Try and go back to bed. Snuggle my man, wake him up. Stroke his back until he falls asleep again. Take my cats back downstairs and snuggle them again. Cry. My body hurts so much and I have to get up for work in 3 hours. Put on a comforting, familiar film or TV show like Harry Potter or B99 with the volume down super low. Try and listen only and cover my face with a pillow to reduce the stimulation to my brain so I forget I am worrying about everything I have ever said or done and focus on reciting the dialogue in my head. Fall asleep hugging my cats and Earl. Wake up 1 hour before my alarm is meant to go off. Rinse. Repeat. Marby Amsterd said, I'm sorry to hear about your chronic pain, but I may be able to offer advice when it comes to the part where you said you think about everything you've ever said and done. I used to not sleep because of this kind of anxiety too until my therapist taught me a surprisingly simple but effective mantra. I just sit or lay comfortably and repeat phrases like I deserve peace and rest, I cannot change the past, and I cannot do anything about it at this very moment and stuff like that, while also following a specific breathing pattern. It helps me tremendously when the gears start turning a bit too much. Edit. Spelling. Fragrant Arm 8601 said, I've tried rhythmic breathing exercises. They work on occasion. As for self-affirmations, they work less frequently. I am under the care of a very good psychologist who has also recommended such things. I had a sleep study done a few years ago which showed I have physiological differences in my hypothalamus compared to a normal brain. Sleep has been an issue for me since I was an infant. My brain doesn't send the right chemicals at the right times to help me sleep. Yes, I've tried chemical replacements. They didn't work for me. But thanks for the suggestions. Groundhog Pete said, I understand what you mean. My insomnia also started as an infant, but nothing was done about it and I didn't even realize as a kid that I had a problem. But I do remember lying wide awake at 2 a.m. in the bed day by day. With my insomnia I feel exhausted but not sleepy. I realized the difference when I started taking a calcium antagonist for my migraines, and suddenly when I lied down I felt sleepy like a normal person and was asleep within minutes. At some point they stopped working for improving my sleep though. Since then I was prescribed some sleeping medications and even they don't work reliably. SSSS Cargo said, I also suffer from reliving every conversation, everything I've ever done, but there is a solution. Bring yourself back to the present by focusing on your senses. What can you smell? What can you hear? What do you feel against your skin? What do you see? Some people do 5 things I can smell, 4 things I can hear, etc., but I prefer to not count in order to disengage my mind. Anyway, distracting myself every time I go into super life critic mode works for me. Don't belong here said. You are the insomniac I aspire to be. I wish I was motivated enough to do housework while I'm not sleeping. I just lay in bed for hours surfing Reddit and hoping to fall back asleep. I almost never do, and I don't make good use of the time. I have a chronic condition, too, and I feel a lot of the same things you do. I think I prefer to just lay down and grieve over or try to ignore my inabilities than to get up and be reminded that some body part isn't working properly. Maybe I'll try to force myself to get up and do the hard things. Bugsy 7778 said. I lay there for an hour or two before driving off again, usually as my alarm goes off at 4:35 a.m. My current time I seem to be waking up around is 2:34 a.m. The last several nights that's the magic time. I'm hoping as we get into winter, I'm in Australia, the cooler nights will help me sleep more. I would get up and start the day, but once I'm up the dogs want to get up, then I'd end up waking everyone else. I hate insomnia. I wish I could get more than 4 hours sleep at night, but even more so I hate that my 17 years old is already showing similar signs of sleep deprivation and insomnia, and not even her sleep meds are working effectively now. Anasiwa said. This will probably get lost in the comments, but if you read this. Weighted blanket. My so is a fellow insomniac, he bought it. The weight helps you feel secure and helps you sleep deeper. He said he cannot wake up during the night, even if he has a nightmare, which is a bummer, but it shows how deeply he sleeps. He uses a 7-kilogram one. Try it, it will help. Ray Frowls said. I'm a night owl or vampire or whatever they call it nowadays. I can't sleep until sunlight and it's really annoying when I have a job. Thankfully the pandemic took that for me. Now I just plug up my headphones and play COD or whatnot all night and sleep all day. Lady Midna Moon said. My friends have taken to calling me the gremlin downstairs because I stay in the basement I rent most of the day and stay up all night. Mostly cause I work on Australia time and I live in a state. But of course I play games some nights too.